Good morning. Oh, Winter Edition 2026. I'm Mona, and this is my morning view. Today, Fiesty Friday. Not sure how feisty I'll get. Not feeling the feisty this morning. just feeling like I'm in a pretty good mood right now. So, we'll see what feisty I can bring. Oh, my head looks like a soccer ball. Round, full of joy. Alright. I have my hair pulled back. And so, therefore, usually my hair hangs down and kind of frames my face a little. I don't know. Winter's always a rough picture day. But it's alright. It's okay. Because I'm not here about the beauty. It's not about the R-E-E-L. It's about the R-E-A-L. And this is what you get. For those of you who don't know, when you're done watching this live, go over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel, Mona E. Harrison, different than my Facebook profile. So, Mona E. Harrison. Go over there, subscribe, hit notifications, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Like, share, and comment, especially if it's something that you agree with, especially if it's something that you, find valuable. I am trying really hard to cover my ears. I don't know where my earmuffs went, and it's cold. All right, so let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Yesterday, I did not do Thirsty Thinking Thursday. Just ran out of time. I had a doctor's appointment in the morning, had a doctor's appointment in the afternoon, had prayer at our church. So there was multiple things other than just work on my Thirsty Thinking Thursday. So I didn't get to it. And if it wasn't for me doing the pseudo quasi taking notes, reading from my notes, Thirsty Thinking Thursday, I could have done a Thirsty Thinking Thursday very easily. But because I've been doing it with the notebook, there was no time for that. So I might just do a Thirsty Thinking Thursday done on Fiesty Friday later on today, just to get that next word out so it's done. And to tell you the truth, sometimes, other than Facebook, other than me doing it right now live on Facebook, they don't always get uploaded on the same day. Sometimes they get uploaded the next day. And my YouTube shorts sometimes don't get uploaded at all because it keeps reverting back to private versus public. And I want it to be public all the time, but I'm not sure how to keep it there because it just keeps reverting back to private. And so I have to do every single video, I have to go into it manually to convert it from private to public. So not everybody gets my videos on the day I do them anyway, right? So I'm thinking maybe possibly do my Thirsty Thinking Thursday this afternoon when I come home from work and I take the dog out, and then that way it's done. It's done. And you'll just have to watch the replay. That's all. Well, you'll watch the live, this afternoon, but otherwise, replays will be there. They won't be here on Facebook because Facebook takes them down after 30 days. But they are absolutely available on YouTube. And that's why I encourage you all to go to YouTube, pop in there, get some of my other content. I've been doing YouTube since last March, so there's plenty of content to watch. And eventually I am going to work on getting the 10 years of content versus the 10 months of content. And we'll get that in there as I go through them and possibly edit a little bit. Edit in the sense of time. Edit in the sense of it doesn't have to be the whole live video because, when you're live, I'm just talking to you. And sometimes, there's interruptions. Sometimes there's things that happen and the course turns. And so there might be two two things going on at the same time on the same video. And it's like, yeah, we don't need to have two pieces of content on the same video. And sometimes I do that. And that's because we're doing it live. And so as it's coming into my head, I'm popping up with the thought. And so the thought gets, stretched out. And then the video ends up being longer. And for the old content, that's not necessary. We can put those down into bite-sized pieces. So those are some thoughts that I have, and so this year I plan on starting that process. I am by no means going to finish it this year, no, but if I can take just one video and figure out how to edit the one video this year, then I have accomplished my goal. Because I'm not getting in a hurry. I'm not rushing. It's not about the rush. It's about learning. It's about getting it out there, and it's about just being obedient with what I have. Because it does me no good sitting on a storage system. It's no longer available on Facebook. It is in a storage system, and that storage system is just sitting there collecting dust. And so, therefore, for me to go in and at least bite-sized, just like cleaning my house, just like organizing my house and decluttering my house, one little bite-size at a time. I started it, I broke my leg, and it got halted. But now that I'm cleared from the doctor, yay! Yesterday, I was cleared by the doctor. Not yesterday, day before, Wednesday. So wonderful Wednesday. That's pretty much what that was about. That I was cleared. Yeehaw! And so so that's what I'm going to talk about today. Is about Wednesday. I'm going to talk about today about Wednesday. So switching over from those bite-sized pieces, right? Switching over, now that I've talked about one thing, now I'm going to talk about something else. This is what I was talking about, is clipping, and separating them into smaller portions. Because right now I'm switching over to what Fiesty Friday is all about. All right. Unsubstantiated fear. Unsubstantiated fear. God tells us to fear not. Now, He has put mechanisms in our bodies physically, because like I said, mentally, physically, spiritually, they're all connected. In one way or another, they are all connected, and they will all affect each other. And because of that, it is important to know that fear in itself is not bad. It is an emotion as well as a warning symbol, a warning sensor. Okay, God put a warning sensor inside our bodies, in our brain, sometimes in our gut, right? Because you have gut feelings, something's not right. You have intuition, which could possibly be the Holy Spirit speaking to you. Or you can have that little piece in the back of your brain, deep inside there, from the beginning, that told people not to play with snakes, not to play with spiders, not to jump off the cliff. Mind you, when you were first created, when God first created, there were no poisonous spiders. There were no, it was either that or they may have been poisonous, but their poison was not in effect. It didn't affect you. Snakes were not poisonous, or the poison didn't affect you. So after the fall of man, then, all the thorns, the thorns that grew up to make it difficult to garden. Before, God made it easy to garden. That was Adam and Eve's job, was to garden. They were to garden, make the whole earth look like the Garden of Eden, and thereby looking like heaven And so it was a piece of heaven on earth, right? They were to cultivate. Well, now it became difficult because there was thorns and thistles. And that's why Jesus wore the crown of thorns on his head, because that which cursed man was now taken upon Jesus as a crown, thereby ending that curse. But we still, if we want, live in that place of, oh, it's hard. Gardening is hard. And when I say gardening, I'm talking about our job. Our job is hard. And so we live in this mentality that it's life is difficult. Life is difficult. Well, part of that has to do with fear. A lot of times we don't want to step out because of fear. Well, what if? All the what ifs. What if this or what if that? And I've been thinking about this for a while. I wrote it on my notes, but then I heard it again yesterday. And because I heard it again yesterday, it was like, oh, that's more than one time that I've heard about this subject. And one of them was inside my brain already. So let's flow with it. The what ifs in life, causing fear. So, I've always wanted to get rental property and have that as an income. I have to turn off my sound because a group text just started, and they will go wild and start ding-donging all over the place. All right. Forgot to turn it off. All right. So, I would like to do that. But my family, certain individuals in my family, to include my extended family, go, oh, but people tear up property. Oh, but people won't pay their rent. These are coming from people who have never owned rental property. That's why the other day it's like, I'm not going to take financial advice from people who are not financially sound. and to some extent, other than, oh, are you all right? You okay? No more. Mommy's not playing no more. No, you sit on the ice, on the snow. Right. So, yeah, there she is. She's okay. She's okay. She still wants to play, but when she starts, her back end slips out. It's like, no, we're not playing anymore. We're resting. We're gonna rest. Sometimes you have to tell her, because otherwise she just stands there in anticipation for you to play. So, anyways, unsubstantiated fear. Now, the reason why I brought Wednesday up is because Wednesday, I was stressed out. There are two things that stress me out. Oh, but it's probably just one. Okay, driving east. Driving east stresses me out. It's one of the reasons why I will not work east, where all the jobs are. Okay, so there's partial substantiation there, because I have been in an accident going to work when I worked at corporate, going from one road on the on-ramp to the next road. And it's a very stressful road. People are driving like 80 miles an hour. There's like 100 million cars out during rush hour. And you have to accelerate to get up to speed to be able to maybe be able to jut into a hole. And you have to eye that hole way down the road going, oh, as long as that other car doesn't speed up or the traffic doesn't slow down, I can get that spot if I speed up and jump in. It's how it is going east from where I live. Mind you, east of me is New York City. So it just gets more congested, more traffic, more wild drivers. I had a driver Wednesday that went around me on my right side. They passed on my right side. The car in front of me had just merged over from the middle lane over to the outside lane, and I was planning on exiting at a driveway just up ahead. So I had slowed down, let that car get in. I turned on my blinker to let people know behind me I'm planning on getting off. And this car comes up from the right side of me. He was behind me that whole time. He comes up because I let a car in. I let a car in and it wasn't him. So now there's a car in his way that wasn't in his way before. And so he took it upon himself to pass me on the right when I'm about to get into that lane to exit. And that's not even a lane. It was the curb. It wasn't a lane. It was the curb. So, so people do what they want when they're driving out there. And so I slowed down. I didn't merge over like I was going to, hoping that I was still going to hit that driveway that I needed, because it's one driveway. That's it. If you miss it, you miss it. So I was just at a resolve and slowed down, let him in to get out of my way, and then I went over and I exited into the driveway. Now I got a little bit more hairy in the parking lot, because the parking lot, I found out later that there's been fistfights in the parking lot over parking spaces. And then somebody said, yeah, I park next door. And it's like, yeah, they won't let you do that anymore. They'll have your car towed. So it's like, okay, you can't park next door anymore. These are things I found out later on Wednesday, when I got home. So anyways, traffic is crazy there. And so I had this fear from one, being in an accident, and observing crazy driving. So it's not unsubstantiated fear. However, in a way it is. Because, yes, that one entrance that gets onto the main road, yes, that's substantiated. I've had an accident in the past. The rest of it, I've never had an accident back there. I've never had an accident in any of that area. I have not had an accident in that county, because that on-ramp that I'm talking about isn't in that county. But yet, I say, oh, fear. It's unsubstantiated. I haven't had an accident there. Stressed out, white-knuckled the whole time. Then coming home, it's the same thing. Coming home, there's a certain, where you have to get onto this one lane and then switch over 2 lanes, and you have to do this while oncoming tractor trailers are coming. And it gets a little hairy there. It's a little hairy, because you don't know if you're going to miss getting over into that lane, because the traffic is crisscrossing right there. Some people have to go up one way and the other people have to go the other way, and usually they're in opposite lanes of the lanes that they need to be in, all going about 70 miles an hour. Because of course they're not doing the speed limit. They may be doing 80, even 90 miles an hour. So there is a substantiated fear. But that fear about, the rental property that I was talking about, these people are talking about it from an unsubstantiated fear. And if you believe people that have never done something and they try to talk you out of not doing something, why? Why are they telling you that? Why would you take advice from people that have never done anything? I'm not talking about that specifically, right? I'm talking about investing. I'm talking about stepping out and doing something new. I'm talking about stepping out to do what God wants you to do next. What is the fear? A lot of us have fear of going and talking to people about Jesus. oh, we're okay with maybe talking with our friend that probably already knows Jesus. But what about those people that don't know Jesus? Why do we fear talking about the Lord? I mean, part of me goes in, like I'm going to the store, right? I go to the store. Normally I'm with my husband. He just wants to get in and get out. He does not want to start any conversations whatsoever. And I get that. We're busy. We've got things to do. We've got stuff to get done. And we don't want to sit there in the store all day. So there's people there that need a touch from the Lord. And they're waiting for that word of encouragement. And when we're nudged, we talk ourselves out of it. We talk ourselves out of it. Because when it comes down to it, it's not about the time getting in and out. It's more of, how is that person going to receive me speaking to them? How is that person going to receive the word that I'm to give them? How are they going to receive me coming up to them and just talking to them when they don't know me? They're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think I'm a lunatic. We don't know that. How many people have you gone up to and started a conversation about anything? The weather. Now is a great time to talk about the weather. We got a storm coming. We got a storm coming on Sunday. People are going to be going to the store to prep. What do you think about that storm? Oh yeah, I'm not going to be looking forward to the shoveling. No. Oh, I hope the electricity stays on. We talk to strangers all the time. And we might even leave the conversation, well, have a blessed day. But when it comes to talking about Jesus, what causes us to fear? Have you ever been hit for talking about Jesus? People have been hit for talking about Jesus, by the way. Have you ever been hit by talking about Jesus? It's just like the accident in Bergen County. Yeah, there's accidents in that county all the time. There's accidents there. But I haven't gotten into an accident there. People have been mugged in New York City. I've never been mugged in New York City. So it's unsubstantiated fear for me. It's not complete unsubstantiated fear because there are certain areas that you have to be aware of. You have to be aware of your surroundings. So when you're aware, you don't have to fear. You don't have to fear. So where does your fear come from? What is causing that fear? Is it the reports? Is it the bad reports? Is it you're afraid to fail? Is it you're afraid you'll succeed? Are you afraid that somebody's going to hit you? I've been threatened. I've come really close to people punching me. But that's not why I don't speak to people about Jesus. I think my fear is more of how they'll perceive me. I think maybe the fear is that if I start a conversation, I'm going to be stuck there. That's a big one. If I start a conversation, I need to be able to finish it. Do I have what it takes to finish the conversation? And will the conversation last for a very long time, or will it be nice and quick and I can get out of there? Because time is my stressor. See, I told you I had two stressors. One was going to Bergen County. Going east. It doesn't matter whether it's that county or going below that county, south of that county. It's the fact that going into those congested areas. But when I have an appointment, which means I have to be there at a certain time, and I allotted myself extra time. And I got there about a half hour early, which was great. So it still took me like an hour and a half to get there versus an hour, which would take most people. But I was wanting to make sure that I wasn't rushed. I'd rather sit in the parking lot than feel massively rushed. So when you have time constraints and you have to be somewhere, that's when I get stressed out. See, I tell you that I talk about peace. And in the past, I was not peaceful about anything. There was no peace in my life. I was stressed about everything. Part of that had to do with my health. Like I said, the health, the wealth, and the spiritual are all connected in one way or another. And when one is having trouble, the others will follow. So, when I talk about peace, I'm in a whole different space of peace. But those two things, driving and time constraints, computer, there's another one, computer. When the computer doesn't do what it's supposed to do. We're not talking about doing something that I've never done before, I don't know how to do it, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm talking about stuff I know how to do and it's not doing it. For whatever reason. That irritates me. So I get irritated. So yeah, the stress level comes up on that. So I'm not perfect. And I don't walk in peace 100% of the time. I don't think anybody does. Our bodies need a little bit of stress. Our bodies need a storm in order to strengthen. Remember the biodome. Those trees collapsed upon themselves because they didn't have the wind and the storms that create them to be strengthened. Those little bits of stress fractures that seal and become strong. And so they couldn't hold up their own weight because they had no stress and no storms come their way. So our bodies still need a bit of stress. That's what exercise does. Exercise is a stressor upon the body that strengthens the body. But you need spiritual exercise and you need mental exercise. And how do you get that? Because you're not going to be able to handle stress if you've never confronted stress. So learning how to walk in peace daily doesn't mean you do it perfectly. And doesn't mean that you'll never have stress again. That all you'll do is walk in peace. But let me tell you that while you're walking in peace through those storms, you'll be more peaceful than you were in the past. You'll be more peaceful. As I'm driving, I'm driving. I'm doing it. I got there. I survived. I came back unscathed. Even though my tire pressure on my vehicle said my front tire was flat. It wasn't, by the way. It was low, but it was not flat. It was drivable still. It had it had plenty of air in it, but it wasn't registering it. And because it wasn't registering it, I'm like, now what? Now what do I do? I did stop and I checked the tires. I looked around. I saw that it was still okay. Every time I got out, I checked it. I looked at it. I'm like, okay, we're still good. It was something to add to the stressor. But I talked to the Lord about it. I talked to the Lord all the way down, trying to calm my nerves, talking about scriptures of peace. Because I knew it was the nerves that were firing and not the circumstance. People drive there all the time. It's not about the drive. It was about what I was creating in my mind about the drive. I knew I was going to be stressed out, therefore I was stressed out. I talked about how I was going to be stressed out when I'm driving there, and I was stressed out while driving there. But I wasn't as stressed out as I usually was. Because I just took one moment at a time in conversation with the Lord. And yes, when I got home, I had to decompress. Still. Because I could feel it. I could physically feel it in my shoulders. The tenseness of driving white-knuckled. Once I was in the area that I was comfortable with, I was fine. All that stuff went away. There's accidents here. People get into accidents here all the time. My grandson got into an accident yesterday morning. Here. In town. It happens. But I'm not stressed out about it. Why am I stressed out about that? So there's more to it than just... There's more to it than just driving east. There's something else that I have to search out the matter for. And so... that's where I am today. I'm going to search out the matter. Let's kick this pig, as I heard this week. I like that phrase. All right. It doesn't mean that I'll be stress-free once I figured it out. It won't mean that I'm stress-free once I've resolved the issue. Because we live on this earth, and there's going to be stressors. It's how we respond, how do we handle it, how do we deal with it. I recognized it on Wednesday. I recognized the stressor. Just like I recognized the text stressor on Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. So, text stressor, that I knew about. I didn't need to recognize it. I know there's a problem there. Driving issue, there's time to resolve this. Trying to resolve it and then move on. Move on from that. All right. That's all I got for you today. Blessings. Have a great day. Don't forget to check out YouTube, Mona E. Harrison. Thank you, Robin, for watching. And blessings. And I will see you all on Monday. However, I may do Thirsty Thinking Thursday this afternoon, done on Fiesty Friday. All right. Bye. Take care.